Right. Audit and assurance, right? So one topic discussing about assurance. Audit is part of the assurance, right? So you need to know what it is, and actually the way I am doing lectures is different, right? So then people who are in the lecture room actually should engage with the lecture, right? Should be a lecture advice. Not going to have lecture series, right? So then you need to get maximum out of the lecture. I know that this exemption batch, you are dealing with some more commitments than other classes, but the content I am discussing here should be with you. End of the day, my responsibility is to give a complete core syllabus aspects, and you should know what it is. That assurance, right? So that I don't like to do a subject, complete a subject, for the sake of completing the degree. Getting a pass or score is a normal thing, right? You don't want to participate for lectures. You can easily refer some YouTube videos or something like that. You can easily get some score and you can get a pass. So then the scoring in the exam is a byproduct. But end of the day, you should know this subject after having this degree qualification. It's obvious that you should know audit and assurance. Right? Why? What's the reason? Whatever the subject you are reading, right? Don't uh, read or learn that subject for the sake of getting the degree. Then my message is you need to learn the subject to use for your future, to improve your skills. Then to learn audit and assurance, you should have a proper reason, valid reason to learn that subject. That reason is not we are having a subject for the degree, we need to attend to the lectures, we need to set to the exam and pass to get the certificate. That is a very ordinary reason, ordinary objective. So that if we are getting this subject as it is, it's a very useful subject because near future, 80% there's a chance to be ODT. You will be ODT, right? 20% chance may be there to be auditor, whatever the field you are going to perform, right? To base to audit, definitely you should know what it is, right? So that is the good reason to learn this subject. So individually, you should have a reason to learn this subject, right? Then others will come at the start. Can we start? So how many students today we have? Like now we have only 6. How many students? 8. 2 more. That's okay. We'll continue. So as I said, you should have a good reason. Otherwise, we continue lecture series and having the exam and then complete as it. But within this lecture series, under audit and assurance, I'm trying to give all aspects about auditing, assurance, audit process, plus some of the accounting aspect as well. Right? We don't have actually a lengthy syllabus. We can easily complete the syllabus. Don't worry about that. The content I have shared here, we can easily complete, right? With the syllabus, I think you have this content. Uh, it's covering 7 areas, right? So then I have already uploaded whatever the reading materials for each and every area to the LMS. You can download all those things, right? So then I have uploaded past papers as well, right? Then I can give suggested solutions for them as well, not for all, some of the papers. So then from my end, I am helping you all to learn the subject, right? So then I want to see that commitment from your end. Uh, as I said, there should be a good reason to learn. Otherwise, sake of getting the degree or from grade 1 to A level, O level, whatever the other primary education, our target was that getting the qualification. But the whole purpose should be more than that. We need to address our skill set, our competence, right? And to be auditor, actually you should know two critical framework. You should know the accounting framework and the auditing framework. Without knowing accounting standards, IFRS and LKSs, you can't do auditing. You have to be expert on accounting to do auditing, right? So then, accounting means the standards, practice, experience should be there, right? And then, after having that experience, you can do audit. Audit is something else. You need to do audit procedures. You need to plan audit procedures to whether we need to ensure that the management has done their work according to this set, these guidelines. For that, you should know accounting. So then, once I am teaching this subject, I have a assumption, what it is, assumption. What is that? I have assumption that you are expert on accounting, right? You should know accounting standard, LKS and IFRS. So that's a primary core objective of applied accounting degree. After getting the degree, you should know about accounting, you should know about auditing, costing, everything, taxation. You have to be a good outcome from SAP campus. That's the main objective. Do that. Again, I'm repeating myself. Learn this subject, have a good intent, good objective, right? You should have a passion to learn this subject, very practical subject. I can share practical experience. Uh, I'm not going to explain about myself. You can confident enough because I am a 11-year external auditor, 11-year external auditor, local and foreign. Currently, internal auditor, yeah, reputed company, right? Internal auditor, head of internal audit. So then, all time, I'm a auditor, right? It means it is not easy. Is that easy? No, that is not easy, right? Always looking at mistakes, statements, each and every day, challenges. You know that audit training, right? Audit training, we know that is bit difficult task, right? So then people are attending audit training, try to complete and they are trying to search a good job again, right? They don't want to stay auditing. Why? That is bit challenging. So then, having this much of period to do audit, we should have a different passion, right? Then you can learn it. It's really good, really good. You can each and every day challenges. You don't have any you know, comments or positive things. At least in the morning, we don't have at least good morning, right? Why? So then people don't want to see auditors. Why? We are there to check their mistakes or frauds, right? So that is a difficult task, difficult job, right? But now you are going to learn that difficult job. How we are going to do that? Then what are the practical issues? What are practical case studies? I can share with you all. Right? So that's why some hiring visiting lectures for this type of subjects. Right? So then I hope that you are ready to get maximum out of that. So then you have to talk, you have to ask questions, and I know that in the exemption that you are proactive, right? You have a working experience, you can share all those things. Here we have some of the good auditors, right? Sometimes my experience, your experience may be totally different. You can share that as well. So then that's a kind of value addition to the lecture series, right? So then, as a whole, we should have a good intent to learn this subject. But the intent for the near future, I will be a auditor or auditee. For that, this is very useful. That's why I am learning this, right? Not to have kind of in another 6 months we are having exam. I need to pass that to get a degree. It's a very ordinary objective. Right? If you are having that objective only, please don't come to lectures. Right? So then you can sign. So then early morning I am giving the sign sheet. You can leave from the lecture room if you don't want to learn the subject. You have a good passion to learn the subject. And other than that, after having this subject, is working, right? How is there? You are waiting? Yeah. Very good. Okay. Then other than that, by using the subject, you can, uh, experience. You can improve your experience and develop a skill to have skepticism in your life. Skepticism, questioning mind, right? Once you are doing one thing, always you can question whatever the area you are searching, whatever the balance you are verifying. You try to question on that. You have to be independent once you are doing anything. You can't say that standard saying this much, this content, because of that I am doing this, and the audit saying this, because of that I am doing this. You can't be like that. What you have to do, you have to be very independent. You should have a proper skepticism, questioning mind, whatever the thing you are doing. Right? That's a skill you can experience. That is a skill as an Asian country we are lacking. That skill is not there. The questioning mind. We always depending on others' opinion. At least we can question ourselves what we are doing. Are we doing correct thing? Are we doing correct job? Right. So then always you know that people are searching jobs. Currently they are not enjoying their job. Right. Always blaming their person, whatever job they are doing. It's a mistake, right? There are some error decisions. Why? You don't have confidence. You don't have questioning mind. So then through this subject, what you can do is you can improve that questioning mind. So that you can have some skill question. So the auditing aspect can be used for your personal life as well. Right? You can audit each and everywhere. whatever the forum you are in, or once you are discussing things with your friends or relations, you can question. After having this much of audit experience, whatever the area we are going, whatever the forum we are in, always uh, audience will be audited. Through the lecture series, you are learning, and as well as you will be audited. You are dealing with the being audited, right? So then that's a very positive thing to uh, start the lecture series. Without having that confidence, without having that positivity, very boring to teach, so very boring to learn. Have a proper interest, right? That interest can be changed to each and everyone. I'm trying to give some, objectives. And what else? Uh, after having this subject, after having this subject, you know some accounting aspects, right? Accounting aspects. You can be a good expert on that accounting aspect because we are trying to perform audit procedures to verify this accounting treatment. Then you can be an expert on accounting aspect. That's another benefit we have. Likewise, we have set of benefits. Okay. So then, because of that, we are learning this subject, right? And then, uh, why we are learning, right? And exam. So then, to pass the exam is a byproduct. After coming for lectures, after reading all those things, you can easily face to the exam and get a good result. That's all right. The byproduct, right? So then, end of the day, you should know what is audit and assurance, how we can do that, how it's practical. All those things should be with you. That's my responsibility as well as your responsibility. Right? So that's the background. Uh, Here you can see the content. Firstly, you should know basic content as well as uh, the plan. So the lecture series, lecture plan, as well as exam focus, and then how we are going to do in assignments and group assignment, individual assignment. They have different tasks, right? So then my request is you have to be very professional once you are leading it, right? Because you are now in a very dummy environment, learning environment, but you have to perform these things in a real environment, right? So then that's why we have to be professional. Once you are doing your group work, assignments, and every task, uh, you have to be very professional and punctual, right? That's a request I'm doing before the next series. This is the topic, audit and assurance. As I said, audit is also a assurance. So then we can say, we can mention to this subject as we are learning assurance. But once you are participating for audit training, or we mentioned that we are going for audit training, right? Not assurance training. Why are you telling that like that? Audit firms, right? They are not telling like assurance firms. Audit firms, yeah. Big four audit firms, not assurance firms. Right? What's the reason? In audit firm, we may have different services, right? Different services. We can divide it that as assurance and non-assurance. Assurance and non-assurance. And assurance, we are having limited assurance and high-level assurance. High-level assurance. Under high-level assurance, we may have audits. Under high-level assurance, we are having audits, right? The low-level assurance, we may have review, due diligence type of engagements. Under non-assurance engagement, we may have agreed upon procedure, compilation, different type of audits. Here we may have prospective financial statement audits, limited assurance, high-level assurance. So as a whole, audit firm, some of the firm tax services, IT services, advisory services, forensic accounting, different services, right? From these services, let's say 80% we are having what? Audits. As an audit firm, we are having a set of services. From these services, 80% we are having audit. That's average, right? Not exact amount. 80% we are having audits. Because of that, we can call that as a assurance firm. It's a audit firm. That's why we are calling as audit firm. So then the process in audit firm will be discussed here, right? Under audit and assurance. Right. So, audit firm, have you been there in audit firm? Audit trainings? Yes. Majority have audit experience. It's a very positive thing to continue, right? You can share your experience. You can get extension from the L as well. Right? After being a chartered accountant, then you can get exemptions. කතාවක් අහලා තියෙනවද? හරිද? අපායට ගිය exemption හම්බෙනවා. So, යාළුවෝ තුන් දෙනෙක් හිටියා. Doctor කෙනෙක් chartered accountant. Then very close friends. After completing the lifespan, 60-50, they went to hell, right? On the regular land. So then, in hell also we are having a leader now. Yamarajuru was the punishment then. Punishment then for the doctor. He's a very good person and very socialistic job and very good merits were there with his job. So then he may have less punishment, and then engineer also dealing with the society. He may punish the less. Chartered accountant always dealing with numbers and tables and all, not human aspect. So then chartered accountant may get the toughest punishment, right? So then that's the assumption they had, right? So then Dr. Colombo had a 5-year punishment period extra, 5 years in order to get it. As engineer got 5 years in chartered accountant එයාට 2 years දුන්නේ. හරිද? යා ලයිෆ් ටයිම් එක ඇතුලේ ඔඩිට් ට්‍රේනින් අවුරුදු 3ක් කම කරලා තියෙනවා. ඒක හරියන්නේ නේ. ඒකට කියන්නේ එච්චරට අමාරුයි. ඔයාලට ඕන දැනෙන්න එක්සෙප්ෂන් ගන්න පුළුවන්. So that's good. So then if you have that experience, actually you can share that experience. So you can go check what I am discussing here. You can link what you have done and the theoretical aspect, account details. So then actually you can improve your skill. That's the expectation, right? Okay, cool. So then we can go to the content. Here actually I want to do a basic introduction and learning objectives, right? End of the day, you need to achieve all those things according to the prospectus, the degree, right? You can challenge if you are not comfortable with anything. End of the day, you can challenge. I don't know that you agree to cover this. So I agree to cover through prospectus this. You have not done, so then you can challenge, right? So that is a kind of a passion you should have, learning passion. Wow, hotel එකකට ගිහලා සර්විස් එකක් ගන්නකොට you are demanding. If you don't have anything, you are requesting, right? Hotel full package එකකට නම් ගියේ. ඔයාට මොනවා හරි ස්පෝට් එකක් කරන්න. Equipment නැහැ. So then you are demanding, right? You are requesting. That's a service. But you have paid for this for service. So this is what we have time to give. It's a contract. So then students are demanding what you want. So demand learning done. The lectures lectures are resource person, right? Whatever the lecture, so they get maximum from them. So they check with the prospectus content and ask from them how we can learn this, right? So that's a right for you all, right? So that's what I am telling. So end of the day, you need to be comfortable with this content. That's a must. My responsibility is that. So then you have to help for that, right? And here we have the content. We have the content. As I said, we have 7 areas. 7 areas. Actually, we have divided this syllabus for 7 areas for the work allocation purpose, right? Actually, it's a one process, one subject, one process. That's the clear. So we have 7 areas. These 7 areas link each other. You have to learn this subject as one bulk, right? You should know link between each and every area. So that's the uniqueness of this subject. So basically, audit is a process. Audit and assurance is a process. Basic process elements are there. In a process, input, process, and the output, right? Whatever the process. But here process is planning and risk assessment. And then execution. And then conclusion. Planning, execution, and conclusion. So this is the audit process. Through this audit process, what is the outcome? Have you know that? You can support me. What's the outcome? What do you think? The outcome is the process. Okay. opinion. It why not to kata serang? Why not to kata dan search bayar ini bala ini ada kata akan lecture what accounting kira dena, auditing kira dena, or whatever the subject, right? Remember lecture terane obey. Right? So then I do lecturing as hobby. So then I like to talk to you and I like to see the improvement. I'm marking papers by heart. So then I want to see that passion, whether you have learned it or not. So then I want to see that progression. Wow, will be getting but lecture I can hobby ka කරනකොට මහන්සි වෙන්නේ නැහැ. hobby එකක් කරනකොට ඇති වෙන්නේ නැහැ. තව කරන්න පුළුවන්. නේද? lecture තව ටිකක් කරලා බෑක් කරනකොට ඒක කරන්න පුළුවන්. hobby එකක් කරන්නේ නැහැ. ඒක hobby එකක් කරන සර් කෙනෙක් ඉගෙන ගන්නකොට there will be proactive. Sir, satu කරන්න ඕනේ. ඔය සතුටුට සතුටෙන් කරනවා. That's the requirement. Right? ඒක මට පේනවා. I pain over the pain. For the 15 years වගේ ඔඩිට් කරාම ඕනම මිනිස්සෙක්ව ස්කෑන් ඕනම මිනිස්සෙක්ව මෙන්න බැලුවොත් හිතන්නේ මොනවද කරන්නේ මොනවද කියලා පේනවා. එතකොට මම තාක්ෂ එකේ කියන්න පුළුවන් දැන් in other values we have more than 60 people are there. So then here we have a limited crowd. I can say that 60%, 50% looking at me, they are not in the class. In the impression, intellectually, they are not going with me. Completely apart. Head balana, rupe pena, ani kena, dekam pena, but how I got born there. Ye dekha link එකනොත් intellectually විඥානයක් එක්ක නැත්නම් තේරෙන්නේ. ඒ link එක තියාගන්න මාර අමාරුයි. as a human being. මට අමාරු වුණා ස්ටුඩන්ට් කාලේ. මට අමාරුයි. එහෙම බලන් ඉන්නවා සර්ව පේනවා. සර්ව ඇහෙනවා. කියන්නේ යන්නේ අවුලට. That's normal, right? So they have to practice. You have to practice to learn. The practice to pay attention continuously. How we can maintain our attention? It's been difficult. So then keep practice and then you can learn it. To have that, you can learn a lot. You can engage a lot. Different techniques there. Take the practice there, right? So what they are all and on. බොරු කරනවා නම් තම දෙයක් මොකද ඔඩිට් කෙනෙක් කියන්නේ ඔඩිට් කියලා ගන්නද ඒතකොට ඇයි එහෙම කොහොමද කියන්නේ දැන් ડોක්ටර් කෙනෙක් නම් ડોක්ටර් එක්ස්පීරියන්ස් වෙන්න මොකද වෙන්නේ ડોක්ටර් එක්ස්පීරියන්ස් වෙන්න let's say 20 years experience ડોක්ටර් කෙනෙක් in that field ડોක්ටර් එදා හරියනකොටම කියන්න පුළුවන් the report products marks by there. Yeah, you can get even this is the name. Yeah, other things will take in a balance of but audit the profession, right? Audit means to have students are heavy. I have dealt with CFO directors, foreign directors, many of what it is, right? So then, always dealing with this type of situations. If it is so, you are dealing with the auditor. So then, once you are doing your this presentations, group assignments, you are doing a kind of bad practice, like you are outsourcing your assignment. Giving some outsiders and pay them and get it done assignment. So then once you are sharing that through elements or mails, once I am opening that, I know that this is a code assignment. Directly I am rejecting it. Right? I don't want to check federalism and anything because the questioning mind auditing skill is more than that. I can see. Likewise, you can scan. Once you are, I can scan you within another 2-3 lectures. I know who you are. So because of that, try to be in the class in 3 modes. You have to focus, you have to see, you have to hear. Right? So then that is the request. You can't do that. Stay outside, sign here, that's okay. What they done that? No, never done that. Mama asked me that. So Audit කෙනෙක් රැවටෙනවා කියන්නේ මොකද නැහැ. So Audit කරනකොට රැවටෙන්නේ නැහැ කියන එක මානසික ප්‍රැක්ටිස් කරලා තියෙනවා. ඒකට හරි අමාරුයි. ඒ නිසා මොකද කියන්නේ කොහොමද ඉතින්. ඒක ප්‍රැක්ටිස් කරන්න. That's a request. Right. We are in this process, right? Planning, execution, and conclusion. So then here we have 7 areas. I'm trying to link these 7 areas for this process. Throughout this lecture series, we are learning this process. How we are going to plan audit, how we are going to execute and conclude and issue the audit opinion. Audit opinion is the outcome. You should know that. What's the importance of audit opinion? සමහර දැන් audit යන්නේ නැති කට්ටිය audit opinion කියන එක මොකක්ද දන්නේ නැහැ. That's okay. Audit කියන එක මොනවද idea එකක් තියෙනවද? Why we are worrying about audit? Why it's need? You know that the lecturer or let's say engineer, why we are getting service from engineer for engineering service, right? We know that service. As a doctor, we are getting medicine and whatever the instruction from the health conditions. Auditing is a profession. Outcome is audit opinion. Do you know about the benefit of that? I hope you know, right? Because you may have financials or whatever the numbers, right? Let's say financials. As per your knowledge, financial may consist with balance sheet, P&L, cash flow, request you have, right? So then initially, this financial statement is prepared by the management. They are responsible, right? Initial financial statement we can call, we have adjective like this, draft financial statements, right? Draft financial statement plus audit opinion. We can say that, but audited financial statements, audited financial statements. So that if you are a stakeholder, if you are in the audience, you are waiting to get a decision. I will depend on this or this. We are referring audited financial statement, right? Why? You have a confidence about these numbers because it's audited by an independent auditor. Right? So then the outcome of this process is to give this clear, right? That should be very clear. This is the background, right? තේරෙන්නේ නැත්නම් දොස්තර කියන්න ඕනේ. සර් තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ මට ඒක නම් කියලා. I hope you are clear. Okay. Right. In this I'm going to match these 7 areas to this process. Here we have first one, governance and internal control framework. Governance and internal control framework in an organization, right? Here you have the signing sheet that signed for you. You can go out. Right? Here we are in a university campus, right? So then I'm dealing with very professional citizens. Then I'm going to want to control. You should have a passion to learning. You have to be professional. So I'm going to link these areas to the process. First one, governance and internal control framework. In organization, there should be a governance process plus internal control framework. Whatever the organization, you may have very large scale organization, medium scale, and very small organization, small SMEs, special business entities, governance organization, government organizations, NGOs. We may have different organizations, right? In organization, we should have a governance as well as control framework. Control framework. To do the governance, we should have a control framework. Governance means direct the business to achieve the required goals, right? Direct the business, achieve the planned goals to serve the stakeholders. Once you are dealing with stakeholders, who are they? Mainly shareholders, and then creditors, government, employees. We may have many stakeholders. So whatever organization, they have to use their resources to direct, to achieve their objective, to serve their stakeholders. That process we call as governance. Once you are doing that, we have a challenge. What is that? We have a challenge. That challenge, that deviation, we call as a risk. What do you mean by risk? Risk. This is a core word we are discussing here throughout this process, right? Risk. What do you mean by risk? In general terms, risk can what? Risk means expectation from the deviation from the expectation. Whatever the expectation we have, if you are going to deviate, it's a risk. So then, in company perspective, what's their expectation? To achieve their business goals and objectives. That's the expectation. The deviation from that, what are the challenges to deviate from that objectives, we consider as risks. So then for the business, we call as business risk, right? Business risk. Then how you can define business risk? These are the risks, these are the deviation, these are the challenges which will be faced by the organization to achieve their goals and objectives. Right? If you have a risk, what you have to do? You have to put a control. You have to put a control. Otherwise, you can't achieve the objective. So then, to achieve the particular objectives, we have a governance process. We are facing different business risks. To face this business risk, what we have to do? We should have a control framework in the organization, right? What risk එකක් තියෙනවා? මොකක්ද? වා හිතාගෙන රෑ නිදාගන්නේ උදේ lecture යන්න ඕනේ කියලා. ඔයාලට කියනවා ගොඩාක් නිින්ද යනවා කියලා මොකද්ද? ගොඩාක් නිින්ද යනවා. ඔයාගේ expectation එක මොකද්ද? උදේ නැගිටලා වෙලාවට lecture යනවා කියන එක තමයි objective එක. මේ objective එක තියෙනවා. ඒකේ deviate වෙනව නම් ඒක risk එකක් නෙමෙයි. ඒක risk එකක. ඒ risk එකට ඔයා risk එකම තියාගෙන නිදාගත්තොත් ඔයා morning lecture එකට එන්නේ around 10 o'clock වගේ නේද? එහෙනම් ඔයා කලින් risk එක දැකලා මොකද කරන්න ඕනද? ඔයා control එකක් ගන්න ඕන. ඔයා නේද? alarm 4ක් විතර තියනවා. ඒ මොකද්ද? Preventive control එකක්. To achieve that target. So then here, audit and assurance, as per the basic description, as per the sir's explanation, there's a risk about audit and assurance. What is the risk? This subject එක නම් pass කරන්න පුළුවන් වේද කියලා දැන් risk එකක් create වුණා නේ. මොකද explanation එක? Get a good pass for audit and assurance. What is the risk? Getting fail pass. Low pass for the risk and audit and assurance. To address that risk, you need to get a preventive control. What is that? You need to attend the lectures and then refer these reading materials, refer auditing standard, accounting standard. Those are the controls you are going to put in to achieve the particular objective. So then as organization, we are having a set of objectives to achieve. If there are deviations, risk, we should have a proper control framework, right? So then we need to study that first. And after studying, you can understand the concept of governance, concept of control framework, and you can study the business processes, right? Basically. And then that business process continuing throughout the period, right? Continuing throughout the period. We have the business, we have a financial year, Jan to December. Jan to December, we continue this business. So then we have a governance process, we have control framework. We have set of control within this framework, right? You can count down different controls, payment voucher approval, or IT control, signatures, fingerprint, CCTV, different controls are there, reconciliations, right? So then, within this control framework, company operate during the period. Operate during the period means they are doing what? Transactions, right? And then after doing transaction during the period, within these 12 months, right? End of the day, management prepare some summary of performance. They summarize this performance during the period performance. That is called financial statements. A process එක summary කරලා අපේ performance එක profitability එක පෙන්නනවා the statement of income, right? How we manage our cash flows, it will showcase in the cash flow statement. How we can manage our asset and liability, we will show that in the statement of financial position. Likewise, we are preparing management, preparing financial statements. Then preparing financial statements. So then they summarize the transaction during the period to one statement, one set of statements. So then for this we are supposed to do a audit opinion. We are supposed to do audit opinion, right? So now we are going to start that. To give this audit opinion, do we need to understand this process? Yes. To issue the audit opinion, as auditor, you need to understand this overall process. So then that's why we are learning governance and control framework in organization. Without knowing that, how we can issue this? There is a link between this process and the area number 1. Are you okay? Area number 1 ඉගෙන ගන්න ඇයි? ඒකට ඔයාලයි මේ audit and assurance and governance control ඉගෙන ගන්න විදිය. So that's the reason, right? Then again, I am explaining more, right? We have to give the audit opinion here. Audit opinion to the financial statements, right? Financial statement consists with, you know, that 5 elements, but basically it consists with numbers and disclosures. You can say that account balances and disclosures. Account balances and disclosures. So the account statement එකක් හැදලා තියෙන්නේ එහෙමයි. නේද? අපිට කොහේ ගියත් balances තියෙනවා. Notes තියෙනවා, disclosures. That's the content of the financial statement. So then we have to audit this. To audit this, we need to audit something else. What is that? Transactions. So as auditor, he has to audit 3 elements. What are they? Account balance, disclosures, and transactions. Keep in mind these 3. Very important. Again and again I am repeating these 3. As auditor, we have to check, we have to audit account balance, disclosures, and transactions. You are worried about why we are worrying about transactions. Why we are worrying about transactions? Because we can audit these account balances and disclosures. Do we need to audit transactions? We have the summary financials. We can issue a report, right? Why are you worrying about transactions? Because we are having account balances and disclosures because of during the period transactions. Without having that understanding, without having that overall process understanding, we can't audit this. Auditing is not checking a number with the source document. It is not audit කියන්නේ balance එකක් බලලා ඒක document එකක් check කරන එක නෙවෙයි, right? Classic example. You know, right? 2023 and 2022 financial years, we have well-known electricity expense. Electricity expense here 200,000. 2022 150,000, right? Yes. So then we have a significant increase, right? Let's say 33%. 33%. Yes. So then we have to audit this. We are the auditor for 2023 financial year. Electricity expense for 200,000. What we can do? We have the balance, trial balance amount. We can check with the electricity bills, right? Straight away, we have 12 bills, and summation equal to 200,000. we can straight away check with the fuel bills and we can confirm. So that's the evidence we received from the government and the CEB. So then, can we stop with that? Can't do, right? We need to justify this 33%. So then, as organization, production increased 15%. Production increased 15%, right? And then another 10% tariff rate increase in the country. Or tariff rate, electricity rates increase in the country. Altogether, 25%. We can see 33%. Then, the remaining 8% is the doubt. As auditor, what you have to do? You should know what it is you are asking. Here we have a difference at 3%. We can justify 15 and 10. We are worrying about 8. What's the reason for this? So then this type of question you should ask, right? And then CFO will witness. So then he don't have any the answer for that. He's asking some time to give this reason. So then what happened was this year, without informing to anyone, so then one of the directors, they have staff quarters nearby the premises. They have taken electricity without informing to the organization. So then under his board there is a wire. So then temporary wire through this wire they are getting electricity. So then can they get electricity from the organization? They are personal shares? Can't. So that is the exact 80%. To understand this code, you have to have the overall transaction, operation, and all the electricity usage in the organization. Without having that understanding, you can't pick this. If you are an auditor, to check the number with the evidence, that is not all about auditing. You have to audit transactions as well. It means, auditing means evaluating evidence related to account balances, disclosures, and transactions. Right? Account balances and disclosures and transactions. So then you need to study each and every transactions. Study, right? Transaction process as well. So then you are clear about area number 1. Area number 2, audit planning and risk assessment. So now we are going to start the audit. We know about the company processes. Planning, execution, and conclusion, right? So then area number 2 related to is how we are going to plan audit, planning and risk assessment. Risk assessment. What do you mean by that? To do a proper plan, you have to have a risk assessment. Whatever the task you are doing, you should have a proper risk assessment. To do a proper plan. What prepare out what the risk අඬ ගහපු සේරම කට්ටිය ඒද කියලා රිස්ක් එකක් තියෙනවා නේද? වෙලාවට යන්න පුළුවන් වේද කියලා risk එකක් තියෙනවා. යන තැන ඉන්න ඉඩ ඇද්ද කියලා risk එකක් තියෙනවා. ඊපස්සේ හරියට වෙලාවට යන්න පුළුවන් වෙන විදිහට risk එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒ risk එක බැලුවේ නැත්නම් can you do a proper plan? Can't, right? So then, whatever the task you are doing, you need to understand the risk first, and then take actions, take a plan, and then planning and risk assessment. These are one topic, right? So in an audit, what is the risk you have? Your outcome is audit opinion. Your outcome is audit opinion. You are planning to issue a audit opinion. Supposed to issue audit opinion. What is the risk then? Issuing a erroneous, incorrect audit opinion is the audit risk. So then we are issuing true and fair view at the point of we are having material misstatement. That is called audit risk, right? So then that is the risk. That risk should be evaluated in the planning stage to the overall financial statement level and then to the assessment level. We have to do the audit risk assessment to overall financial statement level and to the assessment level. Right? You should know what it is. In the audit process, we should do planning and risk assessment. That is area number 2, right? And then area number 3, that's all about area number 3, audit evidence. Audit evidence means to gather audit evidence, what we have to do? We have to execute the audit. To gather audit evidence, we need to perform audit procedures. We need to follow audit procedures. We need to start audit procedures according to the plan. It means audit execution, right? Area number 3. Then area number 5. What is that? Area number 5. Audit reporting. Audit reporting means issuing the audit opinion. Finalization, conclusion. According to the plan, perform procedures, summarize whatever the results, and issue the opinion. That's area number 5. Now you are clear about 4 areas. Area 1, 2, 3, and 5. Area 1, impact to each area. Why? We are auditing this overall process, governance and control framework, right? And then auditing in digital environment. Then again, what is that? Same process. We can discuss for digitalized organization. The whole 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 5. 1, 2, 3, 5 will be discussed under this in a digitalized environment. Digitalized environment, what it means to you? Whatever the business processes with the technological aspect, it may be automated, it may be paperless, may be virtual, right? By using AI or robotics or data analytics or blockchain or cryptocurrency, by using all those technical aspects, we can automate our business. If you are having automated business, how you can perform this task? How about your governance? How about your control environment? Within that environment, how you are going to perform an audit will be discussed here. එතකොට ඔයා ගිහිල්ලා Uber එක audit කරන්න ගිහිල්ලා payment vouchers set එකක් ඉල්ලනකොට print out දාලා. ඔයාට මේ payment vouchers ඉල්ලන්න බෑ. ඒ කට්ටිය ගාව payment vouchers නැහැ. එයාලා තියෙන මොනවද? scan e-vouchers තියෙන්නේ. So they don't have the premises, right? Physical locations. So they are having virtual locations there. So then you should have a proper mechanism to do this. So then we are studying that under area number 4, right? So then area number 6, assurance and related services. Assurance and related services. So then we study audit here, assurance process here, and what else we have under audit, assurance, we have this type of engagement. Any other engagement as auditor, what we can provide, we'll discuss here. Other related engagements. So other related engagement also, we should have planning, execution and conclusion. So then again we can say other related engagements. How we are going to perform that in the organization will be discussed under section 6. Other related audit engagements. Same process, right? After understanding this process, very easily you can understand this. Why? After understanding audit process like this, review process also same, but you need to understand different, right? Agreed upon procedure, prospective financial statement, compilation, due diligence, different audit related or non-audit services. So then all the processes we should have planning, execution and conclusion. So after getting expert knowledge on auditing, this will be very easy, right? That is about area number 6. So then audit quality. So then we discuss about how we can ensure the quality of audit. Under 7, this process, how we can ensure the quality. Quality can be done. Actually, done now. Quality can be done. Quality control. Quality. Simple word of another can quality. Can you buy? අමාරු ප්‍රශ්න අහන්න ඔඩිට් වල. සාමාන්‍ය දේවල් විතරයි අහන්න ඕනේ. ඒවා දෙක මහන්නේ මොකද? අර ලීක් එක හදාගන්න. ඒක බලාගෙන ඉන්නකොට ඉතින් බලාගෙන නැහැ කියන එකේ ඉන්න ඕනේ නේද? ඒක නෙමෙයි. හරි. උඩ කතා කරලා ඉතින් වෙලාවෙන් පස්සේ එන්නේ. ඉතින් අවුලක් නෙමෙයි. It is human nature. Human nature. Amma atakala. Human nature. Political. Right, satisfactory level, yes. Satisfactory level with the requirement, the expectation, right? Yes. In other words, value. We need to have a value and the return for the payment. Yes, value. Nothing is expectation. Nothing is expectation. Yes, that's a poor expectation. So when we have expectation about ice cream, that should be delivered, right? So then, in audit, we have expectation. We need to deliver it, right? So then, how are we going to deliver it? That's all about quality. The stakeholders expect something, right? Stakeholders expect something. As you said, you depend on audited financial statements for your decision making. So then, stakeholders put a trust upon you, your profession, right? So then they are expecting something. They are expecting something. Then you have to deliver. To deliver that, you should maintain the quality. Quality means should in line with the standard. Standard එකට in line වෙන්න ඕන quality කියන්නේ. Standard එකට in line වුණාට විතරක් ඇතිද? හරියට deliver කරන්න ඕන. On time deliver කරන්න ඕන. වාට standard එකට in line වෙන්න මේ අවුරුදු දෙකේ තව අවුරුදු තුනකින් දීලා වැඩක් තියෙනවද? අපි හරියට ඔඩිට් කරන්න කියලා අවුරුදු 3ක් ඔඩිට් කරලා අවුරුදු 3කින් පස්සේ දෙන්න. එතකොට කම්පැනිය මොහොත කරා. We have to achieve the deadline as well. Quality, the accuracy and the timing, cost effectiveness, and balancing the human the experience, the skill, improvement of the skill, all those aspects is part of the quality. Right? As audit firm, as individual, as a practitioner in the field, how they can manage their quality will be discussed under final section. So that will impact to the planning, execution, and conclusion. So then, how we are going to do quality planning, quality execution, and quality conclusion. So then that will be discussed under area number 7. That's why I told you this is all one subject, one process. We have 7 areas for work allocation, for the better presentation, right? But you have to learn this as a one go, one process, right? So then whatever the lecture you are preparing, you should know where you are. දැන් මම ඉන්න ළමේ lecture ඊළඟට එන්නේ තව lecture series 4කට පස්සේ නම් දැන් මට හොඳට මතකයි lecture ආවද නැද්ද කියලා. ඒකට ඔයා දැනගන්න ඕනේ මම මේ කොහේද ඉන්නේ කියලා. right? දැන් මේක කරලා මෙතනද ඉන්නේ මෙහෙද ඉන්නේ මෙතනද ඉන්නේ කියන එක should know it, right? Otherwise no point. Right? That's about the syllabus, and here we have the weightage. You can see 20% they have given for what? 20%, 60% they have given for what? For this. Yes, for this, and this. Planning, execution, and conclusion. So the 80% audit process. Sorry, 60% audit process. And other 40% about this, and this. That's all linked with this process. So we are planning to discuss overall this process to deliver this audit opinion to stakeholders, right? I hope you are clear. So these are the reading materials. Not only this slide deck, don't depend on the slide deck, it's just a guidance, right? So that you can read, you can start your learning through this lecture series. You can refer auditing standard, accounting standard, and then different resources are there. These are the learning sources. Another thing is you can refer whatever the other lectures videos, right? You can Google, you can check through YouTube. තව lecture කෙනෙක්ගේ lecture එකක් අහන්න බලන්න ඕනේ. ඔයාලට හිතන්නේ මේක හොඳයි මේක හොඳ නැහැ. මේකක් නැහැ. ඒක මොකද ඕනේ ලෙවල් වලදී දැන් අපි හිතුවේ. අර සර් තමයි. මේ සර් කියන එක තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ. දෙකක් තමයි කරන්නේ නැහැ. Auditing is one subject. So then if you learn here, one of other lecture may explain something different way. You have ability to cross-check with this and understand what it is. So then if you are getting something, something from two different aspects, you can have an own conclusion. That is the way you should learn, right? Come මේ process එක. තව කෙනෙක් කියනවනේ what cross-check වෙනවා. answer කියපු එක නෙමෙයි කියන්නේ. So then you have a more confidence, right? So then better to read some other sources, right? So then that's a good technique you can use, whatever the learning you are doing, right? Okay, cool. And here you have doubts about this. Paper structure, marks. Paper structure. Can you get access to the LMS to spot? Can you open one past paper? So basically, you have two parts in the paper, right? Part A and Part B, right? Part A, you have one question containing 10 small sub-questions, right? So then that one question will be given 2 marks, altogether 20 marks. Right? These 10 questions will be spread through overall syllabus. I assume that this will be the toughest part in the paper. Why? After the lecture series, you should go in and out in the lecture notes. And you should know in detail content of the lecture series to address, to give answers, short answers to these 10 questions, right? And then you are coming to the part B. Part B consisted with uh, five questions, sorry, six questions, right? 6 questions. You have to answer for 4 questions, right? 4 questions. Question number 2 is compulsory. With question number 2, you have to do other 3 questions, right? Question number 2, normally I am giving a detailed case study. Detailed case study with set of questions, right? I am normally allocating more marks for this question number 2, right? Other questions normally having like small case study with 3 questions. Normally I am giving 18, 15 marks to small questions, right? We are having another 5 small questions. From 5, you have to select 3 and give your answers. That is the basic exam structure, right? So the questions may be very practical, right? So then once you are doing
your exams, I'm putting some of the very practical case studies in the common uh, current scenarios, right? Here we have question number 7. Star TV is a company of operating TV channel, right? Star is experiencing continual losses for last 2 years, totaling this much. Star TV has won the quotation of broadcasting Sri Lanka Premier League, a local cricket tournament, right? And currently it is broadcasting. The Star has breached 2 financial covenants related to operating profit of company, and it was not communicated to the bank at the borrowing value of this month end 3.4 million. The external auditor, SD Associate, suggested classifying the total loan balance as current liabilities. However, finance manager PL disagreed with the suggestion because the suggested classification would impact the current ratio and dedicate a serious working capital issue. You are the audit manager who should finalize the standard audit for year ended 31st March 2023. Right? This is the content. So likewise, you should have proper knowledge to address this type of question, a practical question, right? The questions are explain the identified focus area and issuing the audit opinion on the standard audit for the year ended. Suggest the type of audit opinion for the above audit for Star TV. What are the key conclusion documents in the standard audit other than the audit report? So likewise, you can address these questions. So then you need to focus about these action words, explain, suggest, and what. So this is the basic content. Now we have kind of a target, right? That's about past paper structure and marks. Marks, basically, this is the way I'm planning. Uh, for the paper, 20 marks for the 10 questions, case studies for 80 questions, right? Case studies for 80 questions, and then this is the way I'm planning for presentation and what are the assignments. Individual report 10%, group report 10%, group presentation 10%. This is the normal continuous assignments, right? 10%. Final exam 60%. So then 40% for assignments. Sometimes I am planning to do, normally I am doing group assignment, group presentation, individual assignment, maybe given different assignments, individual continuous assignments, right? You have to do it. Normally I am doing more than 6-7 individual assignments, right? You can do that. Individual assignment plus group assignment. Altogether, you can earn 40 marks for the end exam and 60 marks for final paper. If you are working hard, you can earn 35 marks for more than 35 marks for continuous assessment. If you are earning more than 35 marks, then you can go for A plus. So then that's up to you. I have given 100 marks to you all. I'm willing to give. I'm really happy to see that. What if you are 96, 97, 98 in our මටවත් එපරේට 98 කියන්න බෑ. ඒක ලස්සනට ලියන්න බෑ. So then some of the students are there. So then first question, the presentation of first question, same with the last question. So the අන්තිම ප්‍රශ්නේ ලියන ෆොන්ට් එකෙන්මයි first question එක ලියන්නේ. ඒක ලස්සනට ලියන්නේ. So then students are there like that. Some of the students are there. they are attaching, they have used two booklets. So they wrote many things, but 6 marks. From 100, only 6 marks. Yes, with that. Even two booklets. But I don't know what they are writing. So then, auditing is very focused subject. If you don't know about that, you can't write. So then, examiner not focusing about the, the area, the paragraph, number of words. For 6 marks, 1 page, there's no measurement like that. If you have given 2 pages for 6 marks, I'm not ready to read that for 2 pages. Why? It may be 2 sentences, right? So then you are putting all the theories to the paper. I should do another exam to search and answer. That is not auditing, right? You can't do that here. You have to read the question. Not one time, 3 times read the question. I am asking only one thing, small thing. Use 3-4 sentences, give the answer. That's it. Right? So then you will be rewarded for the marks. No need to use extra booklets. Right? That's all about the basic background. I hope you are comfortable with the content and the plan. What you are going to do, you have a direction, you have a passion. Other than that, you should have a good intent to learn this subject. Right? That's the request. Otherwise, no point. Right? Further, is there any questions? Then we are going to start the area number. Group presentation. Yes, you have group presentations. Be different. That should be a very professional presentation. Maybe a presentation like your audit committee, board of directors, right? In that level, I expect. No need to do any PowerPoint presentation. You just open your report and present. Right? No need to do PowerPoint presentation. PowerPoint is a tool we can use for presentation, but it's not must. Not a must. Right? Whatever the reports are giving should be very summarized. No need to put any pictures, colors, simple format, and no colors, basic font sizes. So we don't have directors, audit committee chairman don't have time to see these colors, flowers, and decorations, right? So that should be very professional. Right? Assuming you are presenting to the audit committee. So then that readiness, that professionalism should be there after doing the group works. Why we are promoting group assignments? Why? I would like to do group assignment for individually also. Individually කැමති. අනිත් කරනවට වඩා group එකක් කරනවට හිනාකම තියෙන්නේ. ඇයි? What's the reason? What's the reason? Group එකක් කරනවා. අපිට සමහරකට කැමතිද නේ? ඒ කැමැත්ත වෙන්න පුළුවන්. අපිට ලීඩ් කරන්න වෙන්න පුළුවන්, හැන්ඩල් එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. group එක. සමහරකට කැමතියි. අපිට කැමති හෝ අකමැති මොනවා ෆියුචර් එකේදී අනිවාර්යෙන් කැමති වෙන්න වෙනවා. මොකද වා කම්පැනි එකේ ඉඳලා අවශ්‍යයි. කඩ වෙන්නේ. වාට අනියෙන් වැඩ කරන්න වෙන්නේ නැහැ. වා CFO දවසට වාගේ ක්වොලිටි එක ටීම් එකක් deliver කරන්න. What is it? 20.7 into 365 times, right? But as an individual,
if there's a the large responsibility, you need to deliver the same quality to achieve that target by using a number of people, right? So then you need to lead, you need to communicate, and you need to deliver. But coming කරන්න වෙන්නේ නැහැ නේද කොහොමද? වාගේ quality එක maintain කරන්න වෙනවා to develop that skill. You should have proper. You should have conduct group activities. Otherwise, no point. Tadi කරන්න බැහැ. අනේ finance division එක නම් කරන්න බැහැ. finance director නම් quality එකක් තියෙනවා නම් quality එකට controls දාලා video කරන්න ඕනේ. That skill will be practiced through group works, right? That's why we are promoting group works. Group එකේ දැන් university එකේ group එකේ ඉන්න කට්ටිය සේරම පඬිත වෙන්න පුළුවන් නේ. එයා එකක් කියනවා මෙයා එකක් කියන පාටක් අය දෙන්නේ. හැබැයි group එකේ එක්කෙනෙක්ම නම් report එක කරන්නේ. අනිත් කට්ටිය නිකන් ඉඳලා ළඟේ මොකද ළඟේ නම් ටික දාලා ඉවරයි. ඒක not a group work. You have to communicate with each other. You have to respect to each other. And whatever the person, they may give the value-added points. You have to summarize. You have to give that priority. You have to explain to them why we are not put in that section to here. කෙනෙක් කියනවා අපේ group photo එකක් දාමු කියලා ඉස්සරහට. ඒක වාට ස්කිල් එකක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ යාන් කතා කරලා කියන්න. මේක ප්‍රොෆෙෂනල් report එක group photo එකක් ඉස්සරහට දැම්මම හරියන්නේ නැහැ කියලා. වා අනිත් කටට කියන එක නෙවෙයි වැඩි. යාට තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ මේක කියන එක නෙවෙයි. වා යාට එක්ස්පීරියන්ස් කරලා. So that's how you need to improve your skills to manage a team. So managing a team having all degree holders will be very difficult because all are leading for degree and they have kind of a good capability and questioning mind, right? Very difficult, right? So then having managing the audit team is really difficult, right? All are having audit mentality, audit mindset. They are questioning. It's really difficult to manage. So then in future, definitely you have many teams to manage. To do that, improve your skill to do group works. That's why we are promoting group activities, right? Okay. Mama mahala mama uttara දෙන්න. Right. Namano තවට තියෙන්නේ. Okay. Or else we can start syllabus. Done. So the area 1, governance and internal control framework. Right. This is the content we are going to discuss. Right.
So these are the basic content I'm going to discuss here. As I discussed, here we are discussing what's the governance aspect and control framework, right? In organization, normally we have the shareholders, right? Shareholders, they have invested to this organization. With the expansion of the business, the shareholders can't operate this business, right? So then they have to appoint a management, management, board of management or director board to operate the business, right? Management may be board of management or board of directors. So this is the setup. This is the party who are governing this business. So the shareholders may be outside, right? Because of this scenario, we have a theory, what is that? Agency theory. Shareholder appoint directors, managers as a agent to act on behalf of shareholders. That's called agency theory. Because of this agency theory, shareholders want to ensure whether this board of directors are governing this organization correctly. So then shareholders establish objectives and goals of the organization. To achieve this, directors, management, they have to direct to the organization to achieve these objectives and goals. Right? That is called governance. Right? To governance, we are having actually we don't have rules. Rules we don't have. We have code of best practice introduced by Srilanka. Code of best practice introduced by Srilanka on corporate governance. We can follow this as a listed company. Called listing rules, they have to follow this. Listing rules, they have identified this as a rule, but it's a practice. Whatever the organization, they can follow this code of best practice to establish a good governance framework. Good governance framework. Good governance framework discuss about what? Board balance or some committees in the organization. Right? Executive directors, non-executive directors, independent directors, and position. In organization, if you are having good governance, you should have separate committees, remuneration committee, related party transaction committee, an audit committee, as well as nomination committee, right? So then we have a committee set up. As well as you should have a cyber security aspect, chief information security officer. Right? Likewise, this governance best practice discuss about the features of a good governance aspect. You can read this. Actually, here we don't have that content. We don't have that content because I don't want to discuss about corporate governance too much. You can read that source document. I can share that with you all if you want. And further, what I can do is I have another slide deck which was prepared for another purpose that consists with corporate governance aspect. I can share that with you all. You can refer that as well. but you don't want to confuse, right? මෙතන එකක් තියෙනවා මෙතන එකක් තියෙනවා මම මොකක්ද දන්නේ print out දාගන්න ඕන. මේ mentality එකේ ඉන්න එපා. So then whatever the learning source, go through and learn it. The question is whether you are learning it or not. Exam එකේ මොකක්ද බලන්න ඕන කියන එක ordinary level question එක. Right? Okay. Yes. Then we are coming to control framework. Control framework. To achieve this governance, to achieve the governance, to direct the business, we should have control setup. Control setup. Control framework. Now we need to understand what is the control. The control, as I discussed previously, that is a response to the risk. That is a response to a risk. If there's a risk, we should put a control. Business එකක් විදිහට සේරම risk වලට controls දාන්න ඕන. එහෙම නම් අපිට profit කරන්න බැරි වෙන්නේ. After risk එකක්, higher risk, high return, right? If you are taking the risk, you may have more return. Loss එකක් එන්නත් පුළුවන්. So then you should have what to make profit. You should have risk appetite. Risk appetite කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? Risk appetite කියන්නේ the exposure, the maximum risk you can bear. That is the risk, ultimate risk level you can bear. Within that risk appetite, you can play around that and you can make the profit. Right? So then, risk and the control. Control should be implemented by the management. Management is responsible to implement control to address this risk. Right? So once you are implementing a control, once you are having a control, you should have 3 stages in a control. What is that? The control, we should have 3 steps. That's called design, implement, and operate. You have a control, management should design, implement, and operate the control. These 3 tasks should be done by the responsible by the management. Design, implementation, and operation. This is very important, right? If you have a control, you are having 3 stages: design, implementation, and operation. What do you mean by design? Design. Control give you an idea. Control is the response which was taken by the management to address the risk. After who keyword control control is a step taken by the management to prevent, detect, correct misstatement in the organization. Right? Prevent, detect, correct misstatements in the organization. Right? Then we'll discuss that later. Try to learn what is the concept and how we can understand the control and then we can understand control framework in the organization. Control framework means control monitoring aspect, control environment, risk assessment, all those things we can call as a control framework, right? So then, before we are understanding control framework, we should know what is a control. Then once I study that control, firstly we understand that once you are designing, once you are having a control, we have passing 3 steps. That's called control designing, control implementation, and control operation. Now I'm going to after that theory then for me that make a study කරන්න ගිහිල්ලා control study කරන්න ගිහිල්ලා තව තුනක් කිව්වා. මොකක්ද කිව්වේ? Control design, implementation and operation. දැන් ඒක තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ අරකට වඩා නේද? Control කියවල නිකන් ටිකක් හරි තේරෙනවා. Control design. What it means to use? Design. So it's a common word, right? Design. Designing features. Designing features. So then design, මොකක්ද කියන්නේ ගොඩක් design. ඇඳුම් design කියන කතා කරනවා. ඔයා design එක design කරනවා. ඒකට ඔයා මොකක්ද design එකේදී හිතන්නේ? දැන් ඔයා හිතනවා මේක. ඔයා ගයක් හදන්න plan කරනවා. ඔයා design එක හිතනවා. So once you are designing, මොනවද හිතන්නේ? Wow. Number of floors and whether you are going to have kind of a large house or small house, what is the look you are focusing on, what is the color you are bringing, is kind of a food focus, not a good focus furnitures, or once you are putting your furnitures, you are going with the whatever the other materials. Likewise, you can decide the design, right? So once you are having control set up, you should have a proper design. So design means designing the control features. Designing the control features. Designing the control features. In other words, designing control attributes. Designing control attributes. Designing control features or designing control attributes. Then control can understand and design can understand then control attributes. Attributes can make understand make designing control attributes. What do you mean by control attributes? When we are expanding a control, when we are going, when we are looking at a control, we have features in a control, elements in a control, as called control attributes. We can ask 3 questions, many questions from a control. Why? This one. Who? How? When? We can ask from a control. Who, how, when, what. So then answers are the control attributes. Who? Who is the person doing that? How? What it should be? When? At what time he has to do? Who, how, what, when? Who, how? Who, how, what, when? You can ask this question from a control. Well, control control more than 200,000 payments, more than 200,000 LKR payments should be authorized by CFO by using by using manual signature. That's a control. I take control with that way. Unauthorized payment I get this up, right? We put that control. Now we are going to ask this question. Who? CFO. How? Putting the manual signature. When? Once they are doing the payment. When කියන එකට payment එක කරලා සතියේ අන්තිම දවසේ සේරම සයින් කරන්නද දාන්න බැහැ. Before you are issuing the check, he has to sign. When? Right? What? More than 200,000 payment. So then, from the control, you are asking the question. So then you can, whatever the answers are the control attributes. So then now you can understand. You have to decide these control attributes. You have to decide who is going to approve, how is going to approve, when. So then you can here manual signature. It may be email approval. It may be online fund transfer approval, right? Likewise, you have to decide these things. Control features should be decided. That is called control design. You have to decide your control. You will be a partake of that designing committee, right? Near future. Who is the responsible for deciding that? The management. Means designing control features, right? Who, how, what, when. Control එක දාලා ඒ control එක දානකොටම risk එකක් තියෙනවානේ. Control එක දානකොට control එක දාන්නේ risk එකකට. දානකොට risk තව risk එකක් create වෙනවා. හොඳට හිතන්න ඕන. හොඳට subject එකට in depth වෙන්න. Control එක දාන්නේ risk එකකට. risk එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒකට අපි control එක දානවා. ඒක okay. Control එක දානකොටම තව risk එකක් create වෙනවා. Water risk එකක් තියෙනවා. මේක හැදෙන්නේ කියලා. මොකද ලාම්බුත් තියෙනකොට මොන risk එකක් ආවේ? Yes. water lamp එක ඇහිදේ. ඒ control එක හරියට දෙන්න කියන risk එකක් එනවා. මොකද? දැන් අර control එක දැම්මම CFO එක හරියට කරයිද කියලා තව risk එකක් එනවා. lamp එක තියෙනවා. lamp එක phone එක silent වෙලා වාට නදලා ඉන්නවා. lamp එක වැදිලා ඇහැරේ කියලා තව risk එකක් එනවා. ඊට පස්සේ ඔයා ඒක තව control එකක් දාන්න. නේද? ඔබ කියන්නේ lamp එක ඇහැරුණා නැත්නම් අම්මට කියනවා එනික් කරන්න. ඒකවත් secondary control එක. control එකට control එක control කරන්න තව control එකක් දාන්න. Right? So then that's part of your control designing process. Who, how, what, when. මොකද කරන්නේ? lamp එක තියෙනවා. How? මොකක්ද lamp එකේ tone එක? Source tone එකක් දාලා තව තින්ද යනවා නේද? When? At what time you have to be the lamp? නේද? ආයත නැතිනම් හතර ඉඳලා lamp එක තියෙනවා. What decide when, how, what, when? So then that is part of the control design. Okay, I think you are getting what I'm telling. Control design.
right? Control designing, and you are designing things, and you need to implement it. You need to implement it. Whatever the design control should be implemented, and then operation. It should be operated. By implement කරන්න design එක useless. So you are having good design for your house, right? Design එක විතරයි හැමදාම. Design එක විතරයි තියෙන්නේ. Implement කරලා නැහැ. Plan කරලා house එක හදලා නැත්නම් useless. You have a proper design, but you have not implemented. You have implemented, you are not maintaining. So there's no operation. So whatever the control you are starting, you design, you have to implement and then you have to operate. Implement and operation. You need to understand separately. As auditor, you should focus about these three elements. These three elements. But as auditor, you have to check, you have to understand and check these two. It's a must. This is a must. But operation effectiveness of the control is an option. This option as auditor. Keep in mind this. මෙතෙන්ට තරු දාලා ලියන්න තරු පහක් විතර දාලා ලියන්න. තරු පහක් විතර දාලා ලියන්න දැන් තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ කියලා තියාගන්න. මේක තේරෙන දවසක් ආවට පස්සේ තරුවට ගිහිල්ලා බලනවා කියලා දාලා තමයි තරුව දාන්නේ. So then you know now, under control we have design, implementation and operation. As auditor, we have to check design and implementation, but the operation will be option that will be decided in your audit approach. That will be decided your audit approach. Audit approach will be decided whether you are going to check operation or not, right? එහෙනම් operation එක බලන්න නැති audit approach උත් ඇති කියලා හිතෙන්න ඕනවාද? Right? Okay. So then still you don't have much understanding about implementation and operation, right? Implementation and operation. Implementation and operation. Let's say this control. No, we'll take another control. Let's say it's a bank, right? It's a bank. Normally in a branch, you are having much cash in the branch, right? So in the branch, for safety of cash, you are having safety lockers. Safety lockers. For normal safety locker, you are having not only one key, you are having two keys. Dual control, dual keys. So then, cash is an asset, very sensitive asset. For that, we need to have a proper control. Right? For that, what we are going to do is, we are putting dual control keys. We are putting a locker with dual control keys, right? And then we design the control to open this safe. To open the safe, two executives should be there. Executives should be there with two keys, and both should participate for the opening moment, and they have to open the locker and get cash out and close. Right? So that at the opening at the day end, they have to keep cash like this, and then the morning they have to open the safe and get out cash like this. So then that event, that control will happen twice a day. So that is about the control design, right? So then who? Two executives. How? By using dual keys when morning and evening. Clear. Design clear. We have documented in the procedure manual. Design is clear. To implement, what we have to do? Implement the we have a proper safe and two executives should be there. Company at least three executives levels in the window. Ekene kliuna dora sali nadu nama in the window. At least three executives should be there to implement this control. So then, so we invest to buy a safe with dual control keys. We recruited three executives to the branch. Now we initiated, we distributed the procedure manual, we communicated to them, trained them, we implement it, right? Design, implemented. So the operation can be in the operation cannot. So the initiated process should be done throughout the period. We have 12 months for the year. Each and every month, this practice should be done. For the way දැන් මේ කියලා බය කරලා ට්‍රේන් කරලා මාස 3ක් හරියටම කරා. ඊට පස්සේ මොකද වෙන්නේ? ඊට පස්සේ මාසෙ ඉඳලා කීස් දෙකම එක්කෙනෙක් එක එක්සෙක්ටිව් කෙනෙක් ගෙදර ගෙනියනවා. එයා කීස් දෙකම ගෙනල්ලා අරලා සල්ලි ගන්නවා. අර එක්සෙක්ටිව් තියෙනවා. පස්සේ ඇවිල්ලා සයින් කරලා ගත්තා කියලා සයින් කරනවා. So then what happened? We planned, we designed, implemented, operated only 3 months, and another 9 months, we have done something else, not according to the design, not according to the implementation, right? The operation may be failed, but as a management, you are responsible for control design, implementation, and operation. These three elements, right? I hope you are clear. So then, you are comfortable with control concept, control features, control design, control implementation, and control operation in organization. We have different controls in organization, right? Different controls. So in a hotel company, check-in process, check-out process, you are getting NIC numbers. It's a proper process, right? That's a good taking. Check-in mention as the the proper process in the organization. So then, in a bank, right? You are having different controls. Right? So imagine in an ATM machine. So then automated, right? ATM machine everything. ATM machine everything. Control it up there. Because as a bank, they should maintain large spaces to maintain branches, right? In branches, like 20 years back, we had long queues to the payments and receipts. We don't have ATM machines, right? To arranging a bank, it may be very time consuming, not cost effective, right? So then customer experience also not that good. So then what we are going to do? That's a business risk. To address that business risk, we initiated, we use digitalization. So then because of that we have ATM machines, right?
So then they are having ATM cards. So we implemented with set of controls, set of application controls, right? But ළඟදී change එකක් ආව නේද ATM machine වල මොකක්ද ඒ? මොකක්ද change එකක් ආව නේද? ATM machine වලින් සල්ලි ගන්න නැහැ. ගන්න. කන්දාව change එක. ඒකේ control set එකක් තියෙනවා නේද? card එක identify කරන pin number එක හරි identify කරනවා so then ඔයා ඉල්ලන ගන්න තමයි සල්ලි දෙන්නේ. receipt එක ඕනද කියලා අහනවා නේද? We are using kind of artificial intelligence, right? Artificial intelligence. So then we are having kind of a decision process is there. ATM machine taking decision, right? ළඟදී අපිට change එක මොකක්ද? මේ control design එකේ පොඩි වැරද්දක් තිබුණා නේ. මොකක්ද තිබුණ වැරද්ද? දැන් සල්ලි ගත්තට පස්සේ තමයි කාඩ් එක කලින් කොහමද? සල්ලි ගත්තට පස්සේ තමයි කාඩ් එක ආවේ. අපි නිකමයි. දැන් කොහොමද? සල්ලි එන කලින් කාඩ් එක ගයි. කාඩ් දාලා යන පොලිසිය වැඩි වුණා බැංක් වල. අපි මොකද ඇයි ATM දැම්මේ? බැංක් වල පොලිම අඩු කරගන්න. බැංක් වල පොලිම අඩු කරගන්න ඩිසයින් කරපු කන්ට්‍රෝල් එක ඩිසයින් ඉන්එෆිෂියන්සි එකක් නිසා තව පොලිමක් වැඩි වෙන්න ගත්තා. මොකද ඒ පොලිම කාඩ් හදාගන්න පුළුවන්. හැමදාම ඒ බැංක් එකේ නම් කමන්නේ වෙන බැංක් එකක දාලා ගිහින්. එතකොට ඔය සල්ලි කවුන්ටරෙන් දෙන එක ලේසි. අනිත් බැංක් එකට කවුරු හරි ආවම ඒ කාඩ් එක ගෙනල්ලා කස්ටමර්ට දීලා සල්ලි දෙන්න ගියාම මාර වදයක් දුන්නා. දැන් මොකද කරේ බැංක් එක? බැංක් එක හිතුවා හරි. We have to change the design. So then previously control was so then after issuing the cash, we are rejecting the card. But because of this design issue, it's creating another inefficiency in the organization. So then what we are going to do is, before we are giving the cash, we are returning the card after the verification, right? So then, card එක දාලා call කරන bank එකට card එකම සල්ලි ආවෙ. ටිකකින් සල්ලි එනකම් ඉන්නවා. මොකද සල්ලි දෙන්න ගම අරන් ගෝල් තමයි ඉන්නේ. සේරම මතක කරනවා සල්ලි දැක ගම. ඒ human behavior එක target කරලා අපි design එක වෙනස් කරා. Now they are not dealing with cards alone. So then people will look after that. So then මොකද වෙලා තියෙන්නේ? දැන් card එක නැති වුණාම කල්පනා කරනවා නෑ ATM එකේ දාලාවත් දන්නේ නැහැ. ඊට බැංක් එකට ගිහින් උනනවා. දැන් කන්ෆර්ම් කරනවා නේද? අපි දැන් කාඩ් නෑ අපි ගාව. මොකද නැත්තේ? අපි කෑෂ් වලට කලින් කාඩ් එක දීලා කාඩ් එක හදාගෙන නැති. ඒක we are not responsible, right? So that's the way we need to focus about control, design, implementation and operation. Right? As a management, you have to change your design with the experience. What can be අපි මේ design කර මේ විදිහටම තියෙන්න ඕනද? No need. With your experience, with the challenges, you can change your design. Right? We had COVID period, right? Most of the control changed. Most of the people work from home. All the facilities and the approvals were changed within small period, right? So then, if there are any challenge, you need to focus about your control design and realign that design, and you need to re-establish the process. So that's all about control mechanism, right? Under this process, you may have different controls. It may be types of the controls. Types of control. What are the types? You may have different types. Application controls, IT general controls, IT dependent manual controls, or preventive controls, detective controls, different types. decentralized controls, centralized controls. If you are dealing with the company having outlets, island-wide branches, what you have to do? Some of the controls you have to decentralize. Some of the controls centralize. What Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut again. Centralized curve controls, decentralized curve controls, මොනවද? Then what? Cash payment කරන්නේ centralized කරන තේරෙන piece වලට cash pay කරන්නේ head office එකට එනවා. ඒකට ගෙවල් කාවට ගෙනියන piece එකට pay කරන්නේ නැහැ. ඒකට cash කරන්නේ බෑ. So they have decentralized not only to the branch, to the delivery boy, right? They have decentralized cash receipt process. They have sent their post machine with the delivery boy. They have decentralized that control. How about their purchasing process? It is centralized. Either for island-wide branches, whatever the ingredients they are using for pizza, they purchase centrally. That's the reality of what pizza හදන්න ඕන තේරුම් දෙක ගමෙන් හොයා ගන්න කියලා normal. එක pizza එක රහවෙන්න. Their purchasing process centralized. Their cash receipt process decentralized. Right? In organization, you may have different types of controls. Some of them are centralized, some of them are decentralized. Some of the controls preventive, some of the controls detective. What do you mean by that? Preventive control and detective control. Preventive and detective. Huh? Control is before the yes, correct. Detective means after the what's your preference? Preventive, correct. Preventive controls, we are more encouraging to have preventive controls, right? Preventive controls. So it's cost effective. Before the risk, we activate that control and we save organizations from that risk, right? It's cost effective preventive control. Detective means already happened, we identify that as a risk, right? Reconciliation is a detective control, bank reconciliation, right? Whatever the bank errors, delays, all those things you can capture through bank reconciliation. It's a detective control. Payment approval is a preventive control, right? Preventive and detective control. So then ATM machine PIN verification is a preventive control, right? CCTV होगा. Detective वाले ने अरे देखते हो बाय में जाती है preventive. Where? CCTV दिया तो एक बादला बाय में ना करने दिए क्या? एक part है preventive. है focus is detective, right? So then what's your suggestion as organization? Are you suggesting to have all the control preventive or detective? Most of the control preventive, but you should have a combination. Why? Detective control is a control we are putting to control preventive controls. Preventive control set එකක් දාලා ඒ ටික වෙනමද බලන්න control එකක් දාන්න ඕනේ. ඒවට තමයි කියන්නේ අපි detective controls කියන්නේ. Cash payment receipt process එකට දාලා තියෙන control set එකක් අපි. ඒක හරියට වෙනවද කියලා බලන්න දාපු control එක තමයි reconciliation කියලා කියන්නේ. So then, as organization, as a management, they should maintain proper combination of preventive and detective control in the organization to achieve their whatever the business objectives, right? මෙතන control එකක් තියෙනවා. Here we have a control, right? More than 200,000 LKR will be approved and paid by the CFO. Right? This is a preventive control to address the business risk of paying more payments or unapproved payments or unauthorized payments, to control the cash volatility and liquidity in the organization under working capital management, right? Preventive control. So then we are asking a question from the management. We are asking a question as auditor or outsider. So as a management, how to ensure that your payments are approved and you have not done any excess payments or unauthorized or unnecessary payments? But what's your control? How to ensure that? They are telling that, yes, we have a control like this. According to our procedure manual, according to our control design, LKR 200,000 more than payments will be authorized, approved by CFO. CFO is a qualified person. Because of that, we know that we have not done unnecessary payments. That is a comment. That's a comment from the management. But we are asking again a question, counter question. What is that? How to ensure that that CFO has done their job properly? Are you know that all the payments he has approved or not are comfortable? Then management have a doubt. Oh yeah, because I නැති ඒවා තියෙන්න පුළුවන්ද? එහෙම කරලා නැති ඒවා අවුරුද්ද ඇතුලේ තියෙන්න පුළුවන්ද කියලා. එන්නම මෙයාට ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා. මොකක්ද ප්‍රශ්නේ? එහෙම කරාද කියලා බලලා නැහැ. Right? So then we don't have any test step to verify this control. So then what they have to do? What they have to have? At the month end, there should be a control to run all the more than 200,000 payments and check whether he has signed or not. We can do this quarterly. For first quarter, what we can do? We can run more than 200,000 payments. The approval can be tested. So then that's kind of a confidence, right? So whatever the preventive control should be controlled and monitored through a detective control. Then only you can have kind of a assurance about the control risk. Or preventive control එකක් දානකොට control risk එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒ control risk එක මොකක්ද? මේ control එක වෙයිද නැද්ද කියන risk එක. ඒකට ඔයා තව control එකක් දාන්න ඕනේ. තමයි detective control එක. Right? ඒක late වෙලා කරලා හරියන්නවද? ඒ control risk එක. වා annually check කරනවා මේක. එතකොට ඉතින් පළවෙනි part එකත් ඉවරයි ඒක impact එක වෙලා ඉවරයි නේද? So then we should have a proper preventive controls continuously. That is called control on the control. It means as organization you should have combination of controls to achieve the business objective. Right? That's about preventive and detective controls. Right? And then we are having manual and IT dependent manual controls. Manual controls, IT control, application controls. You may have different examples. Application control. So that's the control, system level control. Uh, if we are having payments or receipt, we are having sequence order for receipt numbers, customer numbers. It's a control. We don't have duplicate payments. We are having unique number for invoice. We don't have repeated, duplicate invoices. For that, we should have a sequence order. It's application control, right? For ATM machine consisted with application controls. And then your computer, the login control. So then you have a password, right? Password is a kind of a application control. So the password protection policy, how many digits you have to have password, what is the date the password getting expired, that's the ITGC, IT general control, right? So that's all about IT application level controls. Some of the controls, IT dependent manual control. What is that? IT dependent manual control. Take over the IT dependent manual control. You have to approve it. You have to approve it by using online approval, not the manual signature. What you have to do is you have to go to the, as a CFO, you have to go to the system and click the approval button through your login. That's called IT dependent manual control, right? Not a PO application control. The manual part is there, application part is there. IT dependent manual control, right? Likewise, you may have PO IT controls, manual controls. Some of the journal entries will be passed automatically to the journal ledger. Like example, Lanka ATM machines, cash data general ledger entry the bank. හැම transaction එකකටම එක ඉඳගෙන manually දානවා. Can we do that? Right. So that's a automated entry. So then ඒක කොහොමද link කරලා ඇත්තේ? bank එකට කොහොමද වෙනව ඇත්තේ? bank එක operating system එක තියෙනවා. core banking system, right? That may be a different system, depending on bank requirement, core banking system. That system should be linked with their general ledger accounting package, right? That may be different accounting packages may be there, right? So then, core banking system linked with the ATM mechanism in the organization. ATM is another setup. ATM machine, individual machine, is a kind of a robot, right? Kind of a robot. It will be, mechanized that operate through instructions. So this the ATM machines having instruction application linked with the operating system, core banking system. Core banking system managing their accounts, customer accounts. So then previously customer came to the bank and update we had a person to update the core banking system. Then මෙහෙම customer ගිහින් bank එකට ගියාම bank එකේ කෙනෙක් මේ මැද ඉඳගෙන core banking system එක update කරනවද? එහෙම වුණා නම් කොහොමද? අංගාල ATM එකේ සල්ලි මෙයා අප්ඩේට් කරනකල් bank එකේ සල්ලි ගන්නවා. ATM එකේ සල්ලි අරගෙන ඒ ATM එකකින් ආයෙ සල්ලි ගන්නකොට bank එකේ සල්ලි වල නම් අප්ඩේට් වෙනවා නේද? ඒ කියන්නේ core banking system එක අප්ඩේට් කරනවා. So then once you are getting cash from here, it will update it here. Not only that, it will automatically pass journal entry to here. So 12 this second
12 එක රෑ 12:59ට ගන්න cash receipt payment that should be updated to the general ledger on time, right? These are automated entries. Automated entries. Automated entries are application control, right? Some of the entries related to depreciation, tax, those entries will be passed by the finance division. Finance division directly to the general ledger. So then they will calculate, they will pass to general ledger. It means IT dependent manual control. The amount calculation will be done manually and passed to the general ledger. That is called IT dependent manual control. Right? As organization, we should have all setup, all combination to achieve the business goals. Right? That's about application manual, IT dependent manual controls. Right? Now I'm going to discuss levels of Azure controls. Right? Levels. And control levels. That's the typical. Right. Levels of controls. Levels. You are having levels, right? In the society, we are having levels. Education also, we are having levels, right? We had O level, we had A level. Whatever the course you are doing, you are having levels, business level, strategic level, corporate level, right? Degree, you are having level, general level, specialized level, first year, second year, third year. You are having levels. In organization, you are having levels, operational level, business level, strategic level. Different levels are there. Right? Why we are having levels? Why we are having levels? To take different decisions. Whatever the decision you are giving, you have to understand what is the level is appearing. Right? So then in auditing and finance and business operations, we are discussing about overall level and transaction level. Overall level and transaction level. Accession level and financial statement level. That's a very important concept we are discussing. Accession level and financial statement level. What do you mean by that? Accession level and the financial statement level. Controls తీయనవాళ్ళు accession level దగ్గర తీయనవాళ్ళు financial statement level దగ్గర తప్పదాన్ని financial statement කියන దాన్ని financial statement කියන దాన్ని financial statements. I hope you know that. It's containing 5 elements. Financial statement level. This financial statement having statement of financial position. One statement. In here, we having total assets. Under total assets, we are having current assets. Under current assets, we are having cash, and inventory. So then cash balance, let's say 600,000. Inventory balance 850,000. Then KR. This is the balance, right?
the balance. This is the balance. We have total assets. Here we have the cash balance and inventory balance, right? So as directors, they are responsible for the overall financial statement. Overall financial statement, right? Overall financial statement. So then before they are publishing this financial statement under the balance sheet, they are going to sign. They are going to sign. After putting the signature, what is the indication? They are getting a responsibility of the overall financial statement. The overall financial statement the responsibility gano, they are making a responsibility gano. That's the gano. Again, overall financial statement responsibility gano again, cash balance again. So then management giving a message to the public, these balances are correct. Right? These balances are correct. That's the message they are giving. Cash balance is correct. Cash balance is correct. Cash balance is, they are proving that, giving message to the public. What's the message? Balance is this much. This is correct. So this message giving very detailed message to the public. What is that detailed message? What is that detailed message? This balance is complete. Complete. Existence is correct. Valuation is correct. Right and obligation is correct. Presentation and disclosure is correct. These are the messages we are giving through this signature. So these are different concepts, different features. This is called what? Accessions. Accessions are the confirmation given by the management to the public about balances. Make a hurry management and about this. Make it completeness hurry can about this. So then whatever the cash related to that company, related to that period, we have recorded completely. We have recorded completely. Right. So these are the accessions. Same like this. Inventory, we have accessions. And then let's say revenue. Revenue. Let's say 2.5 million. This also having accessions. There's a difference between revenue and the cash. What is that? Is it right? Revenue and cash. Make up for the period balance account. Right? Make a asset balance account. Right? It's a basic difference. For the period balance, for the P&L item, some of the accessions getting changed. So then here we have existence. Here we have occurrence. Occurrence. Here we have valuation. Here we have measurement. Right? But completeness, right and obligation, presentation and disclosure same. Some of the differences are there in P&L to balance sheet through the accessions. Accessions are the communication, confirmation given by the management to the public through financial statements, right? එතකොට ඔයා දැන් plan කරන් ඉන්නේ මේක මොකක් කරන්නද? මේකට audit opinion එකක් දෙන්න යන්නේ. audit opinion දෙන්න යන්නේ. එතකොට මේ audit opinion දෙන්න කලින් මේ දීපු accession ටික හරිද කියලා බලන්න වෙනවා. accession ටික හරිද බලන්න. accession ටික management එක කියලා තියෙනවා මොකක් කියලා තියෙන්නේ? තියෙනවා කියලා. මොකද්ද risk එක? මොකද්ද risk එක? කීයද දන්නේ? මොන හරි කියලා තියෙනවනම් objective එකක් තියෙනවනම් the risk is deviation from that. So then management saying that these assumptions are there. So then before you are issuing the opinion, you need to ensure that the cash balance completeness is correct, existence is correct, valuation is correct, right? Assessment එක තියෙද කියලා බලන්න වෙනව නේ. හැබැයි assessment එක හැම එකටම එකම rate එකකින් බලන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. rate එකකින් බලන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. මෙතන දාමු අපි PPE building එකකුත් දානවා. PPE building එකකුත් දානවා. building එකේ මොනවද? ඒකෙත් මේ assessment එක තමයි. මොනවද දාන්නේ? valuation, existence and right and obligation, presentation and disposal of the building and the cash, right? What is that? Right? Existence, valuation, existence and valuation, existence of cash, existence of building. What hotel के building ने का audit ने का जाना पड़ता है ये नो building ने का कितने ने पड़ता building ने नहीं ने बोला building ने कहाँ वाली अराइयान ने बोला मुझे कतिया थी ना नहीं existence assessment the risk is very less. How about cash? What cash dulu ni ada 5,000 note media clear. What dia jangan betul. Putuan dia. Kalau hari ini putuan darahnya ni 5,000 note sih ada. So existence की assessment में क्या asset दिखा पुनो doubt के कवाडी cash वाला existence risk के कवाडी cash वाला. The risk related to existence may be too high relating to two assets. How about the valuation? Wah कहाँ में building की गाना किया दिखे. Wah इधर गाना किया ना. यारो अब गाना किया ना. Valuation है किधर में valuer he may give a different answer. So then person to person value may be changed. We can't do a value. What a 5,000 note to 10,000 pen. 5,000 note to 10,000 pen वाला value में किए दिखे. वो आते हैं value में क्या है? यारो 5,000 note to 10,000 की value में क्या एक करते देखा था? एक का है. फिर यारो आया नंदन नत्ता मडुआ नक्की आये नत्ता the same value. The cash valuation risk may be very less, but the building valuation risk may be high. Accession level risk may be changed, right? So now we are discussing about accessions. Then nawatan no lagi dene. Then membuka dikira hobi kan ni. Nawatan dene. දැන් පටන් ගත්ත කියලා හිතන දැන් කරන්න පුළුවන් තා බැලුවා. විනාඩි තේරෙනවද? හරි 45. මාතෘකේ. නැද්ද? හරිද? Right. So we are discussing here the accession level, right? Accession level. To ensure that these accessions in the organization, management should put controls, right? Management should put controls to ensure this accession. Those accessions we can consider that as accession level controls, right? So some of the controls you are putting for the financial statement level. That control will impact to the overall financial statement. That control. Some of the control will impact to the accession level only. Accession level only. Accession level only. We have the inventory balance, right? Inventory, we have the existence. Inventory existence එකට මොකද කරන්නේ? ඔයා warehouse එකක් දාලා ඒකට CCTV දාලා ඔයා security කෙනෙක් දානවා. නේද? Inventory නැති වෙන එක stop කරන්න. What you did? You put a warehouse, CCTV plus a security person. This control relating to inventory existence, right? Some of the controls you have, your password protection policy. Each and every login, each and every person, after 2 months, they have to change their password. That login will impact to each and every balances in the financial statement. වාගේ accounting system එකේ transaction එකක් දැම්මම වාගේ එක transaction එක දෙපාරක් record වෙනවා. Duplicate වෙනවා. That's the issue, right? That will impact to only inventory, no, only cash, no. It will impact each and every balance in the financial statement. That is a control which impacts to the overall financial statement, right? So then, in organization, you may have controls relating to accession level or the financial statement level, right? In your home, roof ගේ දෙවෙනවට නේද? දෙවෙනවා කියන රිස්ක් එක මේක කරන්න තමයි. ඒක දාන්න නැත්නම් අද කිව්ව ඔඩිට් ඇන්ගල් එකෙන් බලන්න හැමදේ. හා පහළ තියෙන රිස්ක් එකට නේද? So then the roof for overall home, right? That will impact your room and the kitchen, veranda, and your sister's room, your brother's room, the dining room, everywhere will impact the roof. That is the overall home level, overall building level control, right? හැබැයි ඔයාගේ කාමරේ ලොකර් එකේ key එක ඒ control එක මොකද? ඒක නැති වුණොත් මුදල් කියලා දෙයක් නැහැ නේද? ඒක මොකක්ද? ඔයාගේ that's a control that impact only for you, the individual level control, right? If there's an impact to the overall roof level, වහල කොස්තරකට වහල ගන්නොත් අමතරට impact වෙනවා, right? So then you should have a set of controls in the organization. That's called level of controls. Some of may be organizational level, financial statement level controls. Some of may be accession level controls, right? That's all about accession level controls and financial statement level controls, right? Okay. We discussed about controls and accession level, financial statement level, control attributes, control types. Now we are going to discuss control characteristics. As a good control, what you have to do? That should be cost effective. Cost effective another. Yes. To approve 200,000 payments, we have only for 200,000 payment during the period, maybe 20, right? We are putting a CFO by paying 1 million per month. No point, right? To put a control with the cost effectiveness. Employees का पहाड़ा है. You have only 15 employees. You are putting a fingerprint machine to monitor their attendance. No point, right? Having 15 employees, putting fingerprint machine is useless. At least you should have more than 100 employees in the organization to put fingerprint, right? So likewise, your control should be cost effective. cost effective, and it should be sensible. It should be sensible. Sensible can be. That control should activated on time. So then, before the risk that should be activated, and that control should save the organization, save the cost. That's the sensibleness. Should be sensitive. වාගේ මේ අයි කව එක තියෙනවා නේද? ඇහි මේක පියරනේ. ඒ මොකක්ද ඒක? ඒ කන්ට්‍රෝල් එකක්ද? ඔව්. කන්ට්‍රෝල් එකක්. ඇහැට මොකක් හරි ආවොත් වැහෙන්න තමයි තියෙන්නේ. ඇහැට මොකක් හරි ආවට පස්සේ වුණොත් කොහොමද? එතකොට කන්ට්‍රෝල් එක අවුල් වෙන්නේ. වෙන්න ඕන හරිය එළ ඉවරයි. So then whatever the controls you have in the organization should be sensible. Before the risk, it should be activated and control the organization, right? So those are the quality, good features of our controls, right? So as organization, management should be responsible to design, implement, control in organization this type of controls, right? Okay. So then we need to discuss importance of control system. Why we need to have this, right? Mitigates business risk, establish a good process, different benefits. It may be industry specific, individual company specific, right? And then areas which are needed to control, specific areas, focus area, sensitive areas, liquidity related areas, high manual intervention, complexity, related party transaction. We need to focus more. If it is so, we need to have more controls. And then, what are the framework we can follow, right? And how it affect to auditing. So then, with COVID, what are the control changes we had? And the conclusion. What's the conclusion? Effective internal controls mitigate risk and lead to achieving business objectives and goals by addressing business risk. Right? So then today we discuss about only this slide. Don't worry about this slide. And then puzzle meeting and make it right. We discuss about control mechanism, control design, control implementation, operation, control attributes, control levels, types of controls, control responsibility, right? So you know basic aspect about controls, examples, right? Practically you know that. And that will help you to understand audit process, right? We know that this is a must as auditor, this is an option that we decided with the audit approach, right? So then those things we discuss, done, and with the good plan for the audit lecture series. With that understanding, today I am going to close the class. We will meet up with the very effective lecture in next week. Full-time lecture, right? A basic background plan. Start from the controls. Want to finalize, want to complete, want to start, area number. That's the plan, right? So then, good night.